talks about. By the time Hera McLeod walked into that courtroom fighting for her son Prince, that baby already had a $524,000 bounty on his head. Not after the custody fight, not after visits started, before, way before. Prince was 2 months old when his father took out 3 separate life insurance policies on him. 2 months old. That child wasn't even sitting up yet. And the court never asked about it. But stay with me, because it gets worse. Let's go back to January 2010. Hera McLeod is 29. She's an intelligence analyst. She went to George Washington University. She is not someone who misses things. One day she creates a Match.com profile. That is when she matches with Joaquin Rams, and then he sends her a message. He says he's a recording artist, says he opened for Rihanna, says a reality show is in development about his life. He's charming, different, nothing like the string of bad dates she'd been sitting through. For a few months, she believes him. But the flags start coming. He cannot prove a single thing about his music career. He is never employed, not once. She starts noticing a documented pattern of harmful behavior that she would later describe in court filings and in her own memoir. By the time Prince is born in 2011, Harrah already knows what she has to do. She left him and moved out. And in March 2012, a court grants her sole custody of her son. And that should have been the end of it. But the court still said Rams could see Prince. Supervised visits. A retired police officer present. $600 a month split between them. And that is where the trap starts closing. That cost was never going to hold forever. Everyone in that courtroom knew it. So the judge ordered Rams to get a psychological evaluation before deciding whether to lift the supervision requirement. Standard process, neutral expert, that is how it is supposed to work. But the one thing that the court did not do, pick the evaluator. Rams picked her. Rams paid for her. Her name is Dr. Margarita Avedisian. She practices in Ashburn, Virginia. Co-parenting therapy is her specialty. During the hearing, on direct examination, she told the court she believed Rams should have custody of Prince. Then Harrah's attorney cross-examined her. He asked her directly, "You were aware Rams faced a documented child misconduct charge in December 2010? That photographs existed, that a CPS finding was on record?" Dr. Avedisian said yes, she knew. She recommended custody anyway. Well, she is getting paid by him. The full testimony of Dr. Avedisian is in the description if you want to check that out. The judge accepted the recommendation. Sit with that for a second, because Harrah is still not done. She put Sergeant Perry on the stand, a Manassas police officer, who testifies under oath that Rams is the active named suspect in the 2003 shooting death of Sean Mason, the mother of his older son, shot once in the head at her apartment, case still open, never solved. It is also revealed that Rams assaulted a 19-year-old, which he testified was consensual. There were rumors who that 19-year-old could be, but we don't talk rumors here, do we? So Harrah brings everything, every document, every piece of paper that existed. The judge looks at all of it, and in the summer of 2012, the judge lifts the supervised visitation requirement. Unsupervised visits begin. Prince McLeod Rams is 15 months old. 4 visits. On October 20th, 2012, the 4th one, Rams calls 911. Says Prince had a seizure, says he stopped breathing. Paramedics arrive and find the child on the living room floor, naked, cold, no pulse. Prince never comes back. He is declared dead the next day. Now, this is what everyone assumed at first. A tragedy, a terrible accident, a child with a known seizure history who died during one of them. That is the logical read. That is what Rams told the paramedics. That is what his defense spent years trying to prove. But investigators pull the financial records, and everything unravels. 2 weeks after Prince dies, Harrah learns the truth. Rams had taken out 3 life insurance policies on her son. Combined, more than $524,000. And the detail that Judge Randy Bellows would later call the proof of premeditation, those policies were purchased in September 2011. Prince was 2 months old. I know this is a lot, but we gotta know the full story. Because by the time Prince died, Rams had been in financial collapse for over a year. A $50,000 line of credit, gone. His older son's private school tuition, unpaid. This was not a man who bought insurance to protect his family. Prosecutors argued, and the judge agreed, that Rams began planning this the month his son was born. He walked into family court performing the role of a loving father. He used the system's built-in assumption that both parents deserve access. He used the court's preference for two-parent involvement. And he used an evaluation process he controlled from start to finish. Now, this is the most important part. This was not the first person close to Rams who had a large insurance policy and then died. Sean Mason, his ex-girlfriend, the mother of his first son, was shot once in the head at her Manassas apartment in March 2003. Rams tried to collect $143,000 from her employer after she died, falsely believing he was the named beneficiary. He was the only named suspect. He was never charged. His mother, Alma Collins, was found asphyxiated at her home in Bristow in 2008. Her death was ruled a suicide. Rams collected $162,000. 3 deaths, 3 insurance policies, 1 conviction. At the criminal trial, the defense built its case around one thing: the seizures. Prince had documented fever-induced seizures, 6 of them in the weeks before he died. They brought in Kentucky's chief medical examiner as an expert witness. She could not rule out natural death. And then the state's own chief medical examiner changed the cause of death, from drowning to undetermined.
The coroner said it was drowning, but most of the doctors said it was some kind of like suffocation, so like either drowning or suffocation.
It wasn't natural.
It was not natural causes, no.
That was a setback, a serious one, the kind that can unravel a prosecution. But Judge Bellows does not stop. He reads the full financial record. He reads the 911 tape. He goes through 800 pages of exhibits. He notes that paramedics found Prince cold to the touch, body temperature, 24 minutes after the call started. Dried blood in his nose, a bruise on his forehead.
Right now he's unconscious. He was having seizures, and
Okay, so he's having seizures.
yes,
Okay.
and we're concerned he's not really breathing well.
Okay, seizure. They will appear that way. I have the call in the system, and seizure stopped yet?
Has the seizure stopped?
He was shaking and stopped breathing.
And then Bellows reads his ruling aloud from the bench. For more than 2 hours, 62 pages. His conclusion? Prince did not die of natural causes. He did not die by accident. He died because his father needed $524,000, and his father had been planning it since the month the child was born. Guilty. Capital murder. After the conviction, Hera McLeod stood in that courtroom and spoke directly to Rams. She said, "I have to live the rest of my life with the fact that I wasn't able to protect him from that monster. But you did not break me. I am not a victim. I am a survivor, and maybe even a warrior." But she also wrote something for the Washington Post, and this is the line I keep coming back to. She wrote that Rams did not just snap one day and kill a toddler. He used the broken family court system to do it. Because she is right, he did not act alone. A psychologist who knew about documented misconduct still signed off on unsupervised access. A judge who had police testimony in the record still lifted supervision. A court process that let the man being evaluated pick and pay for his own evaluator and called it neutral. So Harrah did not stop at the conviction. She testified before the Maryland Family Court Reform Working Group. She testified before Maryland legislators. Her participation contributed directly to the passage of legislation requiring judicial education on documented child endangerment in custody proceedings. And in December 2017, 5 years after Prince died, Montgomery County opened the Safe Passage Center for Supervised Visitation, 1 mile from the courthouse where the custody trial was held, free for Montgomery County residents. CourtWatch Montgomery named Prince in their official report. His name is in the record, not as a casualty, as the reason the center exists. Today, Harrah is living with her daughter, conceived with the help of a donor. She never let her past be a burden. She is still actively pushing awareness around domestic violence and co-parenting. So let's answer the question that's been sitting in your chest this whole time. What more could she have done? Nothing. Harrah did not fail to document. She did not fail to show up. She got everything that she would ever need. The weakness in that courtroom was not her evidence. It was a process that let the most dangerous person in the room write the check for his own safety evaluation. A system where supervised visits cost $600 a month, and when that becomes unsustainable, the default answer is not find another solution. The default answer is remove supervision entirely.
We're facing a crisis here in American history. There were members of my family hundreds of years ago that didn't have civil rights in this country, and they weren't considered people. We call them slaves. Today, I think a lot of times we take for granted the basic civil rights that we have as adults.
CourtWatch Montgomery pulled the numbers. Even when a judge made a formal finding of harmful behavior, documented, on the record, by clear and convincing evidence, they still ordered unsupervised access to the father more than 70% of the time. Prince Elias McLeod Rams was 15 months old. He deserved a system that took his mother seriously. And because Harrah refused to stay silent, legislation passed. A supervised visitation center opened. His name is in the official record, not as a casualty, as the reason things changed. That is what fighting looks like, when the system fails you.
How did you feel about letting your son be with them unsupervised?
I was terrified. I mean, it was like sending your child across a field of landmines and just hoping that they return alive.
By the way, if you are going through any legal process right now, or your story belongs here, the link is in the description. Everything you say will be confidential, unless you say otherwise. One more thing before you go. Everything you just watched, the ignored evidence, the corrupted evaluation, the judge who looked at all of it and still said yes. That was a mother fighting against the system. But what happens when the system sends someone into that courtroom specifically to protect a child, and that person works against her instead? The person the court itself appointed to be that child's voice. That tragedy is on your screen right now.